According to the latest Food Security and Nutrition in the World report, around 673 million people went hungry in 2024. That's a slight improvement from the previous year, but the picture remains bleak. Hunger is rising in Africa and Western Asia, where millions struggle to access food to survive. South Africa is ranked as the second most food-secure country in Africa after Morocco, according to the Global Food Security Index. And yet, data by Stats SA indicates that around 14 million people experienced hunger in 2024. In the outskirts of Johannesburg, Gregory Mkhize runs a small-scale farm, which he owns with his wife. It's an initiative that was started after the crippling COVID-19 pandemic. Here, sustainable farming methods are central to the operations. In fact, nothing goes to waste at the farm. The Mkhizes are very intentional about every crop they cultivate. New technology has been integrated into their farming operations.
It's a solid drip irrigation system. The solid drippers, it's a way to go because of when you put that thing, the solid drips, they detect how much water it needed for your soil next to the plant, and then it drips 30 centimeter radius around your plant. So meaning you can, and then it doesn't need water. It doesn't need electricity. You just use the pressure from the tap, and then you don't close that water. It cuts itself when the water is full, then it opens up again when it's dry there.
One of the farming techniques commonly used here is intercropping, which is proving to be beneficial.
When you intercrop, you are using companion plants because of you can plant your maize and your beans on the same bed, and you can put also your pumpkin because of the maize. We know that it goes higher, and then the beans, they can create nitrogen. It's a nitrogen fixer for your soil, and the pumpkin can create something like your mulch for the sun not to bend that soil. So everything works together.
Being located in a community that's also battling high levels of food insecurity, Mkhize says they have found ways of involving locals in what they do daily.
Our bunch of spinach, we sell it for about 20 rands, but when you bring your 20 liter of the food waste to the garden, if you are a community member around here, when you bring that 20 liter food waste, you get a discount for 5 rand. Then you're buying your fresh vegetable for 15 bucks. And then even when you bring your urine, so with a 20 liter, you also get a discount. Meaning with those things, we are creating our own inputs. Yeah, so it's so amazing with the system that we have created for community members so that they can afford this quality food.
They even teach local school children farming as a way of encouraging people to grow their own food, an important practice in the fight against hunger.
We are catering about 54 kids each and every weekend, and then those kids, when they come here in the morning from 8 o'clock on Saturday, they learn how to cultivate, they learn the germination, they learn the pruning. Actually, we are doing things with them so that we can start them at the early age.
One expert says while agriculture remains key to curbing hunger, the issue of trade between countries is also vital.
For the broader African continent and for the world, one of the key themes that is coming out of the G20 in South Africa is a theme of saying addressing poverty through trade, which means then that we have to ensure that trade remains relatively open so that the countries that have surpluses, they can be able to sell to where there are shortages at a much lesser friction and a lesser transaction cost, so that where there are NGOs that can buy food for the population in those areas, they can get it at a much more affordable level. In that way, combined with also making sure that we deal with stimulating many economies in Africa, many economies in Middle East, as well as in Asia, we can bring the numbers down, because the regions that are stuck with poverty is Africa, part of the Middle East, part of Asia, and to an extent also Latin America. And I think in all of these, agriculture could play a part.
The South African government says the issue of food insecurity is something the global community can no longer be indifferent about.
The food security process and the food security initiative, as well as the Ubuntu high-level principles that we've adopted at this G20, are going to be carried forward now, because we need to keep food security on the agenda of the global community, but also making sure that it is highlighted locally as important. And food security goes beyond just access to food. It speaks to access to good quality, nutritious food. It is important to make sure that your citizens are fed and fed well, because it has an impact on other areas of governance, things like the health system. If you have a lack of nutrition, it puts a huge burden on your health system. It affects productivity of workers. People are not getting the right nutritional value, are unable to put in a full day's work. It affects your education system. It is impossible for a young child to learn with an empty stomach. So all of this has a knock-on effect on other drivers of your economy as well.
As Gregory Mkhize continues to ensure he produces good quality food, not only for his family, but the broader community, global leaders meeting in Johannesburg for the G20 summit are under increased pressure to meet the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, including that of zero hunger by 2030. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Malungelo Booi in Protea Glen.